In this video we shall talk about date operations. In the first task we have to write a query to show for each date of each subscription the next information. First we have to show the day number, it asks 1 for Monday, 2 for Tuesday and so on. And second we have to show the week number in current month for that day. Let's look at a little explanation for such date. We see that it's Thursday, so obviously the day number is 4. But if we count week number for that day, it will be 1, 2, 3. So that's the third Thursday of that month. The expected result for this task is the next. We take some date, either start or finish date, and we are calculating the week number and the day number. Let's start with MySQL. Here we shall see the general concept and details will be described in the second solution. In this particular query, let's start with this line. In MySQL, Monday is the day number 0. So if we are talking about Thursday, in MySQL it would be the third day, but it should be the fourth. So that's why we are adding that one here. This sophisticated calculation is needed for the next reason. Let's imagine some calendar. And let's assume the analyzing day is Friday, the Friday on the second week of that month. So here it is. If, for instance, the first day of that month is Saturday, that's the first Friday of that month. But if the first day of that month is Friday or Thursday, then it's not the first but the second Friday of the month. And that situation is analyzed here in this block of code. Finally, if you think that these parameters are quite strange, you are right. It's complicated and hard to remember, but you may always find the detailed description in the official documentation. With Microsoft SQL Server, the general idea is the same, and once again we shall see some details in the second solution. Here in this solution, first we have to make some preparations, because Microsoft SQL Server, unlike MySQL, doesn't number weeks in ISO format. So we have to convert Microsoft SQL Server week numeration into ISO format. Once we've done that conversion, we may follow the same approach as in MySQL. First we have to calculate the day number. In Microsoft SQL Server, the Sunday is the day number 0. So the Thursday here is the day number 5, but it should be 4. That's why we're subtracting that 1 here. And like with MySQL, we have to analyze the current day and the first day of the month. Imagine that the current day is Friday and the first day of the month was Saturday. In this case, this is the first Friday of the month, but if the first day of the month was Friday, it would be the second Friday of the month, and that situation is analyzed here in this block of code. With Oracle, we shall also see some details in the second solution, and here in this solution we have to start with the same preparations as with Microsoft SQL Server. We have to transform Oracle week numeration to ISO week numeration. And once we've done with that conversion, we have to calculate the real number for the day of week. For instance, for Thursday to be the fourth day of week, not the third, not the fifth. And then we shall analyze the current day of week and the day of week of the first day of the month. Once again, if it's Friday today and it's the second week of the month and the month was starting from Saturday, it's the first Friday of the month. But if the first day of the month was Friday or Tuesday or Monday or something like that, it would be the second Friday of the month. And we perform all that calculations here in this block of code. In the second task, we have to create a function to return the same information as in the first task, but as a string, not as two separate columns. The expected result here is the next. We take some date, either start or finish, we call our function, and that function produces this column. Let's start with MySQL, and here we shall see that promised detailed explanation. First we have to declare several variables, and then we have to perform the calculations. As in MySQL, days numeration starts from 0, so we have to add 1 here. So we are taking the day of week by MySQL and adding 1 here, and that's how we get our final day of week number. Then we have to calculate the current day of month number, and we'll use it later. Then we have to calculate the week number for the analyzing date. and the week number for the first day of month the analyzing date belongs to. Finally, having these two weeks numbers, we may subtract them, and that's how we get our week number, the week of the month number. Now let's explain this expression. We remember that we are analyzing this date and our day is Thursday. In this particular case, the first day of month is Saturday, so that condition will not work. But if the first day of month was Thursday or Wednesday or Tuesday or Monday, that condition would work and the number of week will be increased by 1. And finally, we only have to prepare the result in the format required by the task and to return the result. To test this function in MySQL, we only have to execute such a simple query. We have to call our function here, and that call will produce the column with the final resulting data. Let's continue with Microsoft SQL. Here's the variables declaration block, and you may see comments for details. Speaking about calculations, we have to start with day number calculation. Because in Microsoft SQL Server the Sunday is the day number 0, our Thursday would be the 5th day of the week, but it's not the 5th, it's the 4th. That's why we are subtracting that one here. Then we have to perform a lot of non-trivial mathematical operations to transform Microsoft SQL week numeration into ISO week numeration. Once we have ISO weeks number for the analyzing date and for the week of month start, we may subtract those weeks numbers and calculate our final week number. Then we have to calculate if our analyzing day of week is less than the day of month start or is greater than the day of month start. And in the second case, we have to add 1 to the week number. Finally, we have to produce the result in the required format and to return it. To test this function in Microsoft SQL Server, such a simple query is enough. Here we see the function call, and that call will produce the final resulting data column. For Oracle, the general idea is the same. Once again, you may see details about these variables declaration in the comments. Then the calculations begin. And first we have to detect the real number of the day of week. In Oracle, we have to use such sophisticated syntax, but in the end, the Monday will be the first day of week, the Tuesday will be the second day of week, and so on. Then we have to perform the same operation we did with Microsoft SQL Server. We have to convert Oracle weeks numbers into ISO weeks numbers. Once we have those ISO weeks numbers, we may subtract the ISO week number for the analyzing day and the ISO week number for the month start of the analyzing day, and that's how we get our week number inside the month. Then we have to analyze if the current day of week is less than the day of week of the month start or is greater than the day of week of the month start. In the second case, we have to add 1 to the week number. Finally, we have to produce the result in the required format and to return it. And to test this function in Oracle, such a simple query is enough. Here we see the function call, and that call will produce that data column.